Hey, Mark here, and I have a really fun giveaway for you that comes around once in a millennium. A few of you will get that. But I have 5 digital copies of the 2024 film Better Man up for grabs. And listen, this film rules. I know it didn't do too well in the United States, but it's wonderful. It's a lot of fun, and it's worth a watch. And if you're a fan of Robbie Williams, you should check it out. Also, if you're not a fan of Robbie Williams, you should check it out because it's an audacious and fun film. So yeah, if you'd like to win a copy, just message me and be like, hey, Mark, I would like to get a copy of Better Man on digital because it looks great and it seems fun. And then you might win, you might not, but it's worth a chance. So yeah, bring home Better Man. Buy on digital now. Experience the recovery and redemption of pop star Robbie Williams in the most original musical ever made. From Michael Gracie, the visionary director of The Greatest Showman, prepare to be entertained with the Oscar-nominated story critics are calling jaw-dropping and wildly inventive. Includes over 45 minutes of show-stopping bonus features. Available at participating retailers. Buy or rent Better Man on Fandango at home now. Rated R from Paramount Pictures. Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who's an expert in middle-aged, uncoordinated street combat. It's Erik Hoffmeyer.
It's unproven, but in the right situation, I could probably pull off a very comedic fight. Yeah, where no one really gets injured.
I'm pretty sure you would just head and arm one of these guys. Erik and I wrestled. My brother Erik. We wrestled. Like I think you would just head and arm one of these guys and lay on them.
Yeah, I think so. I think there would be a takedown, like a single leg sweep. I might take a couple shots to the face, but you get the leg, you control their body, take them down, sit on them, just wait for it. And yeah, let all the anger pass through the system and then just walk away. We have too much to lose.
Yeah.
Like the guy was Firth was an attorney. He could have lost his license for a fight like that. I get too much to lose at this stage in my life to be like getting in bad fights.
In this world, you get into a fight in a restaurant, then you bust through a glass. You're just all you have to do is pay for it. And I don't even think there's cameras in the second one, but this is pre-Twitter and Facebook and all that. So yeah, I bet the owner was like, "Hey, just pay for the window, leave it alone."
There's no blood either.
Yeah, and also, you know what I love too is this. So today we're going to be talking about the fights in Bridget Jones' Diary, and then Bridget Jones, the Edge of Reason, not as much the Edge of Reason. We're going to talk more about the fight in Bridget Jones's Diary, the 2001 film, which, okay, real quick, Erik, all 3 Bridget Jones Diaries films averaged 200 million at the box office. Renee Zellweger got an Oscar nomination for Bridget Jones' Diary, a Golden Globe nomination for The Edge of Reason. These are movies that, based on best-selling books, they have a good pedigree. But I think it's one of the sleeper franchises on this earth. There's 3 of them, and all of them have made over 200 million. Now think about inflation. So like all of them have made over 200 million at the box office. Like that's pretty good for a Renee Zellweger British accent franchise. And the books are massively popular. But
I remember the movies being huge.
Yeah.
But I never, doing my research for this podcast was the first time I watched the movies so I could watch the fight sequences. But I watched the whole movie just so I can get a better understanding of the fight scene. And they're good movies, but I thought they got the credit that they were due. I mean, this was a big deal back in the day. I remember my now wife would sing badly all by myself. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then she explained it was from the movie. So maybe it's just because my wife liked them that I realized it was a big deal.
And like, listen, it's based on the book, but I like Renee Zellweger in these movies because I don't know, there's something a little bit free about her. She doesn't really care, and it's not. I don't know. She's totally like. What am I trying to say here? I watch like hundreds of rom-coms, and they play through all the same tropes, and I like that Bridget Jones is different from all of those tropes. She's kind of happy being a party girl. She's in her apartment. She'll sing by herself. She'll go get too drunk.
She's really fearless. It is a fearless performance with the weight gain and really putting yourself to look awkward. Like, did you see the running sequences with her? She did this funny little trot.
And then she's on the treadmill falling off and the fire escape thing. Like she really
put the butt scenes as a reporter too.
But she's funny though, because she just doesn't there's something about Bridget Jones's where she just keeps going. Like, you know, the third one, she goes to this music festival, gets pregnant. She's like, oh, whatever. Like, I'm keeping it. Well, but I don't know who the dad is, but she's totally fine with, there's no moral quandary. She's like, yeah, well, I'll figure it out. Like, I like her compare. Like, I feel like most rom-coms, since I had to watch so many of them, they follow such, and these do too, but they follow such a formula that, like, you know, in 87% of them, there's always like a big lie. Like I did like a massive data post with just all like the stats from rom-coms, and she's just really refreshing. And the fight, you know, so while rehearsing all of these rom-coms, I I I I learned that there's a lot of fights in them too, which is like, you know, Grosse Pointe Blank has a good fight, obviously,
Hmm.
but then there's like someone's always getting punched, like forgetting Sarah Marshall, or someone's getting
The
slapped,
direct punch right to
or
the nose.
yeah, like, you know, because there's always like a love triangle going on, and then there's always like a pretty, or like a jealous boyfriend. So Wedding Crashers, there's a good scrap. Like there's a lot of good fights in rom-coms. So while scanning through hundreds of them, I discovered that, and then I kind of went, you know what? Let's talk like Love Hurts. Let's talk about the fight in Bridget Jones' Diary, because after watching all of them, and also Bridget Jones's Diary, it's a solid R rating. Like these are pretty bawdy. Like Richard
Hmm.
Curtis with About Time and Love Actually, he wrote this, he didn't direct it, but the movies that, and even Four Weddings and a Funeral, they seem kind of posh, Britishy, kind of like they seem very sanitized. But when you watch them, there's actually a lot of fighting, sex, nudity, drinking, drug use. Like he goes pretty hard. Richard Curtis does. So I kind of dig that about his movies. That's something that you wouldn't expect from this
Is this
film.
is this the most self-deprecating major rom-com hit that you've ever seen?
Like, what do you mean self-deprecating?
I mean, they were all lampooning themselves the whole time. I mean, even the fight scene was like Bridget Jones herself was adored because of her flaws, right? Isn't that's kind of why they fell in love with her because she was goofy, she was
Yeah.
unabashedly herself. But then the fight was great because we loved the fight because of its flaws. That's
Yeah.
doesn't it feel like it has to be one of the most self-deprecating rom-coms ever made.
And also too, I think it's self-deprecating and self-aware, because
Mm,
there's always the love triangle. You have Hugh Grant, who's just playing
yeah.
a vicious version of Hugh Grant, but you always have the cad. Then you have, there's so many misunderstandings in Bridget Jones' Diary. Like, remember when she's like, he left me, but he just went to go get another diary, and he could have been like, hey, I'm gonna go get a diary, but instead she chases
But then
after him
she
to make
ran
a,
out in the cold and like
yeah.
then she had no pants on.
He had no pants, and, and so like they're always running after each other. There's always misunderstandings. There's always maybe like a baby involved. There's always some there's also, you know, this entire film, this fight, Hugh Grant is such a jerk in these movies. And but you know what's kind of funny is, what I like about Mark Darcy, played by Colin Firth, is he's totally upfront. Like he said some really mean stuff to Bridget Jones, and his mom buys him all his clothes, and but he's very upfront. But like everyone thinks that he's the villain in this, but then you have Hugh Grant, who's very duplicitous, and he's just straight up cheating on Bridget, and he stole Mark's fiance, and he's lying about it the whole time.
And
But
that's
I
the great thing about the fight is it
yeah,
mirrored their personalities so perfectly. You had the straightforward aggressor, and in the fight in the first movie, Hugh Grant sneak attacked him 3 times with a single fight.
yeah, he hit him with a trash can lid,
And then
and
he
then
kicked him in the junk from the table.
yeah. And then he did the wanker bit too. Like
Well,
he was trying to,
but before that, when they went through the window, he waited for after they sang "Happy Birthday" when Firth had his
oh
back turned
yeah.
toward. That's when he attacked when the back was turned.
Yeah.
Very very sneaky. And then the great thing at the end, Hugh Grant just had to get the last word in. He always just he knows he lost, but he has to turn that knife because he knows the words can really cut through to the soul. So he calls him like you'll always be a wanker. And then he gets punched and gets knocked out. But then Bridget Jones gets mad at Firth for knocking him out. Like, so she goes to the rascal instead of like the gentlemanly guy.
And listen, he has every right to want to fight Darcy has every right to want to knock out Cleaver.
Yeah, he
And,
slept with his fiance,
and now
and
he's getting
he was the
involved with
best friend at
Bridget,
the wedding.
just getting involved with Bridget. And you know what I love too? We're gonna fight. Like he's like, go outside, we're gonna fight. And what do you say, dueling pistols or Just something real. What?
Or swords.
Swords. What an idiot. I love Hugh Grant.
I mean, that
That
was a classic line. Should I bring my dueling pistols or my sword? I
and
mean, it's
I love,
condescending and funny at the same time.
and he has no idea what's about to happen to him either, because Darcy unlocks two right hands right to his face, and I love when he gets hit. He's like, "Oh, not again! That hurts." Which getting punched hurts, Erik, and I like that they sell that pretty really well. And he's like, "Christ, again!" But then he cheats with the trash can lid.
Well, I think if they just left it at one punch, it was like, okay, I had that coming. Let's go on with our lives. The second one, it's like, okay, all right, this is really happening now. The second one was too much. One I can tolerate. The second one, oh no, it's on.
Uh,
I love
and
how he fought, even though he knew he was going to lose too. It's like that's how angry they were.
and the wrestling. So you know what's great is, I worked in a bar for many years, and I watched so many fights, and none of them were pretty. Like no one ever looked good doing
No,
it. So I like in this
no
fight,
one wins a fight.
they just looked really bad. And Darcy walked away the loser because he's the one who knocked out what'd you call him? The rascal? He knocks out, yeah, the rascal. He knocks out the rascal. So I love that the 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 guy who kind of was noble, who had every right, walked away the loser, even though he
Mhm.
won, which makes a lot of sense for fights. And watching that made me happy. So I like that a lot. And also, so here we go. I put together, let's see, 150 plus rom-coms, Erik, I
Mhm.
analyzed, and I put together 11 different categories. So the 11 categories are like rom-com tropes. Like, is there sex? Is there lies? Is there nudity? Are there breakups? Is there dancing? There's dancing in this one. Is there musical performances? Are there cheating? And you know what the average is? It's 7.75 out of 11 tropes for the over 150 rom-coms I watched.
But
So
how
like they
many rom-coms actually had fights in it again?
well,
All of
oh no,
them?
well, like it varies, right? Like so, Grosse Pointe Blank has that hitman murder. Wedding Crashers has a fight, but then there's also slaps. Like a lot of dudes get slapped, and then a lot of guys get like remember in Goon when he walks up to the
Oh,
guy, he's
like when
like,
the
"Yeah,
lady
man,
slaps the man in the movie
yeah."
at some point? Okay.
There's a slap. Bull Durham, Kevin Costner knocks out Tim Robbins.
Mm.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Russell Brand, and them have a little bit of a brawl. And in Four Weddings, there's actually like a punch. And Jerry Maguire, he gets punched by the lady he breaks up with. There's something about Mary, he fights a dog. Pretty Woman, he punches Jason Alexander. There's a lot of
Oh,
violence in rom-coms. Always Be My Maybe, he fights Keanu. So it I don't know why, but watching through them, like, man, people get beat up a lot in rom-coms.
you have to add some kind of element of suspense or action or
Yeah,
grand gesture.
but I just like that there's always people getting hit. And I like, but that out of the way, I think this one's the best fight though, because you know that there was a stunt coordinator there originally
Yeah,
for
they were like,
this.
don't, we got this.
Yeah. And
Stay out of this.
they said the only thing that remained was the trash can lid and the glass breaking, but the rest of it was just Firth and them fighting. And then Hugh Grant said that he would just bitch slap Colin Firth, and Firth said I'd probably kick him in a rather ineffectual way. And you know what's funny? The director was talking about it, and they said that they shot it with a lot of action shots. And they said the funniest bits were just the wide shots of them slapping each other.
Yeah,
So the director, yeah,
there's so many comedic elements within the comedic fight scene. The double hands to the face is a classic because then you're like at the
oh
stalemate.
man, yeah,
That's a classic shot. The leg kicks. I mean, kicking somebody is unless you train for it, it is a tremendously awkward experience.
because
Like it
all you have to do is move back. If you don't know foot movement or you have them against the wall, you try to kick somebody, it's not going to work too well for you.
no, and you really just use it to kick them to get them to drop their guard so you can land a punch. Real life. I mean, that's probably the most common cause of a kick. But if you're in a bar fight, no one's kicking.
No, I never saw a kick in a single bar fight that I worked at.
And that's what's funny about it. And then they did the whole thing where they go to kick each other, then they hold back so they don't want to take the hit. At the same time they're delivering a blow.
He's like, I'm gonna shin you. That would work. That would hurt if one of those dress shoes hit you in the shin, Erik. Whew, you're gonna be limping for a little bit here.
Oh, especially if they tow you, like
Yeah,
the toe move.
I'm gonna tell you. But you know what's funny too? This fight starts out quite violent because it's Firth just dropping Grant with really nice right hands. I mean, for a posh British dude who doesn't punch much, he wallops Cleaver pretty good, and he finishes up the fight with a KO. So it's bookended with traditional violence, but I like when they get into the grappling because, like the director Sharon Maguire said, they cut the wide shots, and this is the two of them doing the weirdest grappling I've ever seen in my life. And then
What?
and then they get
Yeah.
stuck hand fighting, and then there's a nut shot, and then they're singing Happy Birthday in what, a Greek restaurant with an Acropolis cake, and a glass explosion, then a knockout. But
Yeah,
it's
Hugh
just
Grant
perfect.
lost it. He had an opportunity after he hit him with the garbage can. He tried to put him in a full Nelson.
Yeah.
That and it all went downhill after that. Like he almost had the full Nelson, which is like I don't know, you slide your arms like on the other side of the arms and behind the head to really control someone's upper body.
He's just too short, and like Firth is too tall for that. And they're both such wiry guys. I don't see that full Nelson working too well with that. Maybe Firth. Do you think Firth could full Nelson Cleaver?
Oh
Cleaver would
yeah.
headbutt him.
Yeah, he's a big. Oh, he would stomp on his foot. You know how
Yeah,
you take like your heel and you hit the like right on the top of your middle of your foot, right on the bony area. That's the
or
trick to getting out of that one.
back of the head into the chin. But I like it's quite a violent. But yeah,
Well,
you're
it's
so right.
violent, but it's like I don't think that they truly wanted to hurt each other, like hurt or like seriously injure. I think if you have that kind of history with someone where he was a best man at your wedding and you were best mates, even if the person did something terrible, like cheat, cheat on you with your wife, I don't think you would want to hurt someone like as if your life was in danger. You just want to really embarrass the person, I think. Or you want to get some anger out without sending them to the hospital.
And there's
So
no
like if this happened to you, like how would you handle a physical altercation if you were in his shoes? I'm kind of curious because for me, I'd probably do the takedown and I'd probably do a lot of little slaps to the face. Just slap, like little ones, not hard, just enough to humiliate the person to let them know that like feel remorse.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to win a fight against Cleaver. Even if you win, you're going to lose because he's such a, like you said, a rascal.
He had the rage. Whoever
Yeah.
wins a fight, the person's more angry anyway.
And I just think, but I think Firth, I'm not saying fighting's the option, but in rom-com worlds where fighting is very plentiful, this kind of, it had to go there. Like I think this kind of had to happen
It
between
built up
them
to it.
because Cleaver was never going to tell the truth. And as respectable as Colin Firth was, you got to fight a dude eventually. So I think his plan was to get him outside, and the fact that he actually threw the first punch is quite impressive because a lot of them like, you hit first, you hit first. Like Firth just hits him, but maybe he thought it would end after that. And then like, no fight has a roadmap, so like you never know where it's going to go. And I think once Cleaver gets hit a couple times, he's not going to let that stand. So then I
The
think,
second one is what was like fight time.
yeah. And to be fair, I don't think Cleaver thought Firth was going to hit him.
I don't
Like,
think so either. He rolled up all cocky, like he
no,
just was going to own him with verbal jousting.
like no one thinks that Darcy is going to hit him. And then so you know what, it is a little bit of a cheap shot, even though they're looking into each other's eyes. So I think at that point, Cleaver, and listen, Edge of Reason shows that Firth is much faster than Hugh Grant.
Yeah, he
So
chased him down in a foot race.
he's bigger, he's more athletic. So I think Cleaver's only option is to be a cheater, and he's gonna do that. So I think Firth was kind of doing like the dueling thing, but he opened up the can of Cleaver worms, and that's why the fight got so ugly. So
He
it's
listened to him. I mean, Hugh Grant said, I give up, I give up, and then hit him with a sneak attack.
and also listen, for what it's worth, Cleaver has a good chin because Cleaver took a good right, and then Cleaver took another good right.
Took 4 shots to the face.
And then in the in the restaurant, he gets knocked down again with like just a wild overhand right. And then it took another punch to get him down. So, I mean,
They should have showed some hand pain. Like if you punch someone in the face, it hurts your hand if you're not holding your fist correctly.
that's a good point.
They should have had some kind of like, ow.
Because, yeah, your hands are done. But you know what, though? Hugh Grant's kind of ripped in this movie. So he's very wiry in
He's in
it.
shape.
Yeah. So I think this fight is exactly how it would have gone down. Like Firth is going to win like 9 times out of 10. I keep saying Firth and Darcy, but Darcy's going to win 9 times out of 10, but Cleaver's going to make a scrap out of it because I like rascals are gonna rascal, weasels are gonna weasel, and that's what he does. And then he comes out on top.
And
It's just, yeah,
he went down. He's like, you're always going to be a wanker. It's like he didn't care about losing. So I got another question for you. What's the American equivalent to be like, you'll always be a wanker?
I think
How would you cut to the core in American English?
I think Americans hate the word nothing or loser.
Ooh, I think he meant it like a nothing
Yeah,
in
like
that sense.
wanker. Like I think in that one, just you wanker, like you wiener. To get that reaction, you need to call somebody a nothing.
Yeah, because it's not Dick. Like Dick's kind of a close to a wanker,
Yeah,
someone a dick, but it's not getting the true humiliation of the term across.
like I think wanker. I think wanker. You just look at somebody, oh, that wanker. Like look at that idiot. So it's and like if during a fight someone goes idiot, like that's not worthy of a final KO punch. So it's got to be you're nothing. Like
Yeah,
I
and I think
think
that's what he was getting at
yeah,
by making that comment.
Americans don't want to be called nothing. So yeah, I think the equivalent is nothing. And this is a great fight. And I asked for a poll on Facebook about, hey guys, what fights do you think are great? I got Shaun of the Dead. I got a bunch of good fights, but a lot of people basically said, yeah, this is it.
And
But because
there's not a lot of comedy fights out there.
yeah, like I think maybe Top Secret, there's a great fight underwater, but that's in a straight up comedy. Like
Yeah, I mean, Get Smart had some funny action scenes too. I watched a few movies. I think the king of comedic fight scenes is probably Step Brothers because how long of the fight they had. I mean, that was a good 5 minute fight that just kept going and going,
they
going
they
until they knocked each other out.
they lived from that movie, but that's more of like a serious kind of satire horror film, sci-fi film.
Mm.
But I think what's great about this fight is it's 2.5 minutes. So it doesn't go on too long. And you know what though? So, like Bridget Jones rolls hard. Like she'll party. And so I kind of like that this one, it's quite violent though.
Yeah, but the
But
violence
that's
was
good.
masked by the comedy. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many comedic scenes in here
It's raining
from
men.
the Raining Men, the sneak attacks. Then they fall into the restaurant. But then Colin Firth was so worried about getting a guy dirty when he landed on his table that he tried to get the stuff off, but he smeared more food on the guy's shirt.
uh, uh,
And then you had
the birthday cake. Happy
yeah,
birthday.
they stopped the fight to sing
Dear,
Happy
what's his
Birthday.
name?
Yeah. Yeah, he actually said, "What's his name?" And then, then you had after Hugh Grant hit him with the sneak attack to the sensitive area. He's like, "Have you had enough, Darcy?" It's like, "No." So there's all these funny moments within the funny scene, and it's you're right. It was the right amount of length that it didn't get old, and it was uproarious laughter. And I watched it for the first time, and I thought it was funny just watching it on my phone at the gym. Watching it while I was doing some cardio. But I mean, I think you got to watch that in a theater. Can you imagine watching it in a full theater when it came out that like no one knew this was coming and you had this ridiculous fight? I mean, that must have been a really fun experience at the time.
And you got to give it up to the selflessness of the actors too, because Richard Curtis was talking to Sharon Maguire, the director. He's one of the screenwriters on the movie, and he said in westerns and in the old days it would have been a fight or a duel. We both thought, well, that's it, middle class men fighting. They just don't have a clue. So to give props to Hugh Grant and Colin Firth, they both look supremely silly in this fight
Yeah, and they're
scene.
such iconic characters. I mean, they're iconic. I think they're iconic actors who have been around and have done very classy roles over time.
And,
So I think it must have been liberating to not play the serious role and just get really goofy.
because what's interesting that you say that, because Hugh Grant really hates his Notting Hill character now.
Yeah, you're right.
He's the most spineless oopsie daisy sack of crap. So he hates that guy. But but so I think that was fun to see him, because so he had done some American films, but like he popped off with Four Weddings and a Funeral in '94, nominated for Best Picture, huge film. Then he kind of was in 9 months, The Englishman and Went Up a Hill, Sense and Sensibility. He's good in that. He did a couple American films, but then he did Notting Hill, Mickey Blue Eyes, and those are two very Hugh Granty characters.
Hmm.
So then what's interesting after that? After
He took a right turn after those.
yeah, he did Bridget Jones' Diary and About a Boy. And then he did 2 Weeks Notice, which he's the smarmy guy. And then he did Love Actually, where he's like not he's the prime minister, so he's not quite Hugh Grant, but he's like a more successful, less bumbling version. So that was the kind of end of those days of him. So I think, yeah, like it was a good reset, the Bridget Jones Diary, because everyone, oh, he can be the kind of not squeaky clean lead. He can be a just a cad, I guess. For
Yeah.
I like saying that you said rascal. So yeah, he kind of did that. And
I've
then
had a lot
Colin,
of fun with his recent roles too. I mean, he like
oh man,
Paddington, was it Paddington 1 or 2 where he was
two,
the seedy
yeah,
guy?
yeah.
He was in a couple Guy Ritchie movies. He was in The Gentleman where he was
He's great.
super seedy.
He just got a Golden Globe nomination and a BAFTA nomination for Heretic. Like so, he's rolling right now. Like, he's doing great. And you know, Colin Firth, you know, he was a major sex symbol in at that time because he did the what is it?
Sex
Pride and
symbol?
yeah, sex symbol.
Firth?
Yeah, he did the Pride and Prejudice TV show in '95.
Hmm.
So if you ever just type in Colin Firth Pride and Prejudice, there's like a famous scene where he comes out of the water. So he was at this point, you know, he was kind of a villain in Shakespeare in Love, but he was kind of I don't know, this role was a different one for him where he, he was just playing such a jerk, but normally he was kind of smooth in his shows. So I like this version of him as well. So he's I don't know, he was a good foil to her as well. He's just very awkward, very forward.
He had an arc too. It's kind of
Hmm.
fun to have that arc in the movie.
I like that he likes Bridget too, but he always just puts his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, it's like he would see her and he'd be jealous about how much fun she would be having.
Yeah.
Whereas remember him and his girlfriend in the early part of the movie, they're just out doing stuff, but they're really just working in
Yeah.
different locations together.
Yeah, he's yeah, just super boring. And yeah, like this kind of another boring girlfriend. She's like, "Oh, come back in. You won't believe the conversation they had." Like I think he enjoys Bridget's chaos. Like he digs that.
Balances them out.
Yeah. But that's why this is a good fight because you know what I think the best fights. I've talked about a lot of fight scenes on movie films and flicks and they tell a story. And this one tells a story and both of the characters are in it. Like it's not just a gratuitous fight. So I love this brawl.
And it's, I think, I mean, the target demographic to this movie is women. And I think men fighting over Bridget is like a fun add to that kind of environment. Would you agree?
Yeah, and but you know what though? I wish I would have seen this fight scene in 2001 because it's not so loaded with it's very testosterone but they all look silly. Like, I think it would have been fun for me to watch that and
It's a
have
good movie. I
uh,
enjoy the movie.
like just the fight scene in general where it's just two guys looking really silly but they're still battling. It just would have been fun to watch.
Is it a bad fight filmed well? Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, okay. Yeah, it's a bad fight that was made with a lot of thought. Like listen, the idea to get rid of the stunt coordinator was smart because
Brilliant.
listen, the stunt they need an Oscar category. I don't know how that works, but they need one. And actually today what Brandon Straussing put out this really interesting thing where Vulture has the 2024 Action Awards and a lot of great stunt works in that. But the problem is with stunts is sometimes it looks too manufactured, too graceful, too you watch the bodies in flowing motion and it just looks like a dance and artwork. Not all of it, but this fight can't be that. And it can't be overly over the top. So I think the decision to be like, no, we're just going to look like idiots and wrestle. And then, you know, the director's idea, Sharon Maguire's idea to film it in a wide shot is even better because they didn't have to worry about stuntmen because they had these two idiots wrestling in the street
The full
together.
awkwardness
Like
was out there for everyone to see and experience.
like two kind of sex symbols at the time because he had Notting Hill under his belt, Hugh Grant, and that was gigantic. That movie was huge. So you have these huge actors who are known for their romantic work, just looking like complete idiots in this
Yeah.
raunchy fight with
You know what the
Oscar
polar
winner Renee
opposite?
Zellweger.
Yeah, the polar opposite of this fight. I was watching a couple fight scenes in rom-coms to prepare for this, and I put on This Is War with Chris Pine and Tom Hardy, where they were fighting
Oh,
over
another
Reese
fight.
Witherspoon.
Yeah.
But there's nothing funny about it. They were like really competitive, and then they're both super spy agents. But then they had this very super serious fight. They end up falling over a balcony. They're fighting in a dining room. There's nothing funny or remarkable about it, and it's
Yeah.
just boring. It's like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, we're just gonna fight now.
Yeah,
And then there's
that's about
nothing
all it
that
was.
furthers the story.
We're going to show everyone how talented and how strong and athletic we are.
It's nowhere near as good as Timothy Oliphant knocking out Emil Hirsch and the girl next door. Sorry.
That's a deep pull. I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen that in a really long time.
So I'm so like, yeah, it's funny, but there's stuff at stake and it's also ugly, and it kind of kicks off another section of the movie. So it's a good fight is storytelling plus like featuring good character work. So I think this belongs up there with some of the better fights.
Agree. You know what? You know what else added to the humor here, and I'm hoping maybe you can talk to this is the music.
Oh
So a
yeah,
lot of times it's just a score background in fights, right? But this one had a very recognizable songs to add to the cheese factor. In the first fight, it's a Raining Men, and the second one it was the darkness. I believe in a thing called love. I'm sure there's a double meaning. Like I believe in a thing called love. It's a rom com, but it had a high energy to it. So why do you think they went with a song that was part of the fight? I mean, the song had a really prominent part because you hear it's Raining Men, and that's part of the calculus which makes it so goofy.
I think the first song is better. So I all my research, I don't know why they picked It's Raining Men. I think they tried multiple songs, and then eventually they just listened to It's Raining Men. And they're like, this is perfect.
It was so
We need
ridiculous that
I-
it fit it.
and I think that's the point of the fight too, because I guess if the majority of the audience is women for this, and then you have Hugh Grant and Colin Firth, and the song doesn't really kick in until the silliness starts. Like when they're just wrestling like idiots in the street, that's when the song comes on. It's not playing over the hard right hands. So that's and also I think
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
so I think that you what I think you start with
It's
the
the cue
violence.
that it's about to get a little weird,
And
right?
most of these fight scenes at the time, it was like new metal music pumps in, or if it's Daredevil, it's like bring me to life, or like this orchestral, big,
Yeah.
bold sound. And then this one, it's Raining Men because it's so silly. And also, too, I mean, they fall through the glass, they fall into the restaurant. So it is kind of Raining Men.
They are flying about all over the place, right?
So that one's great. And I think a thing called Love in Edge of Reason, that one just kind of, I don't know why it's there. It's good, but it's also the fight scene. So Roger Ebert said something really funny about the fight scene in Bridget Jones' Edge of Reason. I was going to try to get to the book, the second book, to see if there's a fight that actually happens or this was added for the movie, because Ebert made a joke. He's like, there's a fight scene in the second Bridge of Jones because the fight scene in the first one was so good. And I think
I
the
got a
sec-
question about that for you.
the second one was way too forced. And I think the best moments we don't see. So Darcy walks up to Cleaver and they're gonna fight. And he's like, you're gonna have to drag me out of here. Like, I want to see him drag him out of there. Like, what does that look like? And at the end of the
I
fight,
like that pause. I liked it.
and
I
then
thought it was well done.
they come busting out of the room. But I do like the water fight. But the thing I was most impressed with is Colin Firth running, because they both hurt themselves that day. They were both out of shape. I think Firth really hurt his back throwing Grant into the water, and
They
then they were
fell
just
awkwardly. They felt both fell backwards.
yeah. And
They
I
could have
mean,
got hurt.
yeah, and they did. And it's just chasing. You're going to drown me in 16 inches of water. Yeah. So I
The
think
music kicks up again.
it'll never be as good as the first one, because the first one was kind of primal and silly. So the surprise was gone, but
Mhm.
it still managed to find some fun. However, I want to know how the fight ended, because they're chasing each other around in circles. Like, how does that end?
Probably ends, and then Hugh Grant has to say something again, and then it
They're
starts up again.
there all night.
But I don't know. So you would say this is more reheating old material versus revisiting something that someone loved to give them another bite at the apple.
And I
I,
mean, there's nothing wrong with that in a rom com sense, because, like I said, most rom coms have 7.75 tropes or characteristics out of 11. So they all lean into them. Every single one leans into them. So I'm totally fine with the fight in the second one, because it's like comfort food. Rom coms really are like comfort food, like just like action movies are in a certain
yeah,
extent. Like
yeah,
every action
right.
hero is either single or their wife has died.
You
I
don't
was
watch a rom com to watch something new. You want to watch the same warm, fun storylines.
I can look at anyone but you. That movie features 11 out of 11. There's, in that movie, they have a triple misunderstanding in that movie. That's unheard of.
Trifecta.
That's unheard of in the rom-com land. So they have a triple. There's a scene where he's writing something, and then she comes back in, and later on it happens. And later on, you're like, oh, there's three misunderstandings. But there's a lot of like sex, nudity. There's some like wrestling. There's some. He chases her down at the end, and it made a ton of money. You have good-looking people,
Falling into the water.
doing all that. There's, I mean, they toss a bunch of nudity into it. There's the exes are in it, and it made a lot of money. So yeah, like with rom-coms, I think people want to go see something that is rom-commy. It's
Yeah.
but there's, it's interesting though. I mean, you can make a turkey sandwich, but like some are just better than others. They all have the same ingredients, but someone adds a little bit more funk to it. So I think that's what this movie is. It's
Yeah.
how you handle the
It's like,
characteristics and the tropes.
and it's like a dessert. You keep it toward the end.
Yeah.
You have the build up to it because both these were in the last maybe 15 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this long build up where the rage, he's got the pent up rage coming up, or all the different slights and things that happen. And it kind of works to the end where it all just kind of comes out. And in the first one, I mean, it's a long journey in the first one. By the time you see all this unfold, and you're rooting for Colin Firth, this other thing happens where she starts talking to Hugh Grant again, and then you feel like you're really invested in this love story by the time this thing goes down. So the audience is really invested in it. You can't have a fight scene early in the movie. You got to let this thing build and have it in the right spot.
And you need a chase at the end. She chases after him. And this movie features 10 out of the 11 tropes I told you about.
Nice.
That's pretty good. And
It takes
so
talent to check all those boxes.
listen, I got paid to do it and write an episode, so that was cool. But I'm telling you, there's always fights. There's always kind of the extra boyfriend. There's always the love triangle. But yeah, it's just how you handle it. Like I love Always Be My Maybe. And Keanu Reeves gets punched in that movie. Like, it's very funny. Like, and then there's a song about punching Keanu Reeves, which covers, let's see, three tropes or characteristics, because you have a love triangle, a fight, and a song.
I love it because just the idea of that's funny.
Yeah,
Because he's such a cool guy. Like, why would you do that?
he's like Uber Keanu in this one. And I don't know. I just think, I guess if we're looking at, so what would you give this fight? So out of hearts, 5 stars. The first fight, how many hearts would you give it?
Out of 5?
Yeah.
Definitely 5.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 hearts.
Because the humor within the humor is what I like the most.
Yeah.
The funny fight was inspired, but then the writing to where it breaks it up at all the right moments, and then they end it without getting too long, was my favorite part. Because you're laughing throughout the whole fight. That's what it was, keeping you fresh, and it was the quick cuts, and it really kept you engaged. Then you got the memorable factor to it. You got the funny lines, and yeah, this is definitely one of the 5 out of 5.
What about the second fight?
Ooh, the second one added some funny elements. I mean, I felt like it delivered. I'd say 4.5, but like things like, will you step outside, please?
Yeah.
But why do you would say please? Like,
Yeah.
will you step outside, and then you add the please at the end? Like, what? Please let me beat you up. Like, I don't understand. Like, the please got me. And then he's like, you're gonna have to drag me. And
that's great.
wait, are you gonna step outside? No. Here's how it goes. Will you step outside, please? Darcy, do you have any idea of what century we live in? And it's perfect because it's not as good as the dueling comment from the first movie, but it's close. And then, are you going to step outside, or am I going to have to drag you? Well, you're going to have to drag me.
And he's like, you're insane. And then he's like, you're pulling my hair.
There's a good hair pull. And then they went a long way while hopping. I mean, he was pulling him on his foot for a long time. This one added some new
water.
It was the same, but they had the breaks in the fighting. It had the lines. They added the hair pulling. They added the leg pull. They added a chase scene in this one too, which is kind of funny. They still had the audience kind of cheering it on to heighten the situation. But I don't know, I thought it was good, man. That was a long chase scene. I counted 10 seconds on film of just them running.
I was worried about them because they had kind of wet shoes, and just it was pretty slippery out there. And Firth is booking it. I think he pulled his hammy while running like that. But
And then the end, I thought the end, like the first one, all they could muster because he was so tired, he just said, "You're a wanker," you know? But then the next one is like, you thought he was going to say something nice. He's like, if you care about her so much, you need to marry Bridget Jones. And you
mhm.
think for a second that he's being nice. And then he throws in like, because if you did, she would definitely shag me. So he lures him in and then just turns the knife, throws that little arrow to get behind his armor, and then they start fighting again. So to me, it was like it delivered. It was similar, but it was still pretty good. But I'll give it a 4.5 because you can't be as good as the first time.
I think that's fair. You can't knock it. And I think you're right too when he said that, because she would definitely shag me. He set him up good on that one.
Man, he reeled them in and just went for the went for the gullet.
And you know what's funny too? A couple of the lines, those are lines that would get you back in that fountain. So or punching him again. So it's
Yeah,
you know,
it's true to
imagine
character.
having this fight and you win it. Not I mean, no one wins, but you win it and you're walking away and the guy goes wanker. Like, oh man, that would drive me insane, Erik. Because the guy lost, you know.
Well,
And then,
they're like brothers.
yeah,
Like, brothers, they have to get the last word in. Like if a brother gets punched, they have to throw another punch back to make it even. It's just they're acting just like brothers do.
oh man, and then they get thrown into a fountain, and it's kind of a replay of his Pride and Prejudice moment. So I think that was a good callback for that. But they're just both idiots, and I like that they're both. I like that both. And you know what I love about these guys? They talk so much crap about each other in real life. I think they really get along.
It's the Love
Yeah.
Actually
Commentary.
commentary
Did
where
you ever
he
listen
where
to that?
I know, but you told me about it
Yeah.
multiple times where Hugh Grant be like, "Oh, look at this guy walking into the room, all cool, just bagging on him."
Oh, this idiot! Like it's so funny. So it's uh, they have a great. There's so much. They're so different, and they would look like such idiots. And it's yeah. So I listen. I think probably the best all around fight ever in a rom com is Gross Point Blank, and that's just the school fight with John Cusack.
Is that really a rom-com?
Yeah. So comes back after 10 years, meets his ex, and then he's lying. Like she doesn't know what he's doing. Like, does he know who she is? He meets his old friend. You always have the best friend. And then there's like, they meet and then he murders somebody. She sees it. She runs away. Then he has to go back and win her over. It's still all the tropes of a rom com,
Hmm.
just with murder.
They got the funny side characters with Jeremy Piven.
Yeah. And like you're going back to your old town. That's like trope of like every single Hallmark film ever made.
And it's close. She's not quite a journalist, but she's on the radio.
She works in
Where
radio,
I
you
mean,
know,
it's tangent
and there
tangent to all the other advertising or writing jobs out there.
there's a dancing scene.
Oh, at their old high school.
Yeah.
So you had the whole nostalgia aspect there too.
Dancing scene, offbeat jobs. They all can travel whenever they want. So it's definitely a rom com. But yeah, I think, but that one's not fair because it's Benny the Jet versus John Cusack, who's a black belt. So they're just murdering each other with pens.
That guy was his trainer for the
Yeah.
movie, right?
Yeah. Benny the Jet. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think,
he trained him in kickboxing and did a lot of the stunts too.
so I mean, that's not really fair. But I think this is, if we're going to say this is, if there's a first ballot Hall of Fame, I would have to say this is number one. I think Bull Durham's up there, but that's only one punch. But it's the way Costner handles it. But it's very Costnery. Wedding Crashers isn't great.
Well, they had the football scene
Yeah.
too with Bradley Cooper that was pretty funny. That was a physical altercation that was hilarious. The crab cakes and football.
And then let's see what else. I mean, there's
Where he
something about
injures Vince Vaughn and he
the,
couldn't walk.
the dog fight is good though. When in something about Mary, because he's pile driving the dog and punching it, and he goes to poke the dog in the eyes, and the dog blocks it.
Wow, that's a deep pull. I don't remember that one.
I'm telling you, dude, there's so many fights in rom coms, and so that's why I wanted to talk about Love Hurts, because
Why? Why? What do you think it is?
well, I mean, like you said, it's entertainment, but also there's love triangles. There's the slaps, there's the punches. I mean, Bull Durham's love triangle, Bridget Jones' Diary love triangle, Wedding Crashers love triangle, forgetting Sarah Marshall love triangle, the Tao of Steve love triangle. You just have that like either yelling or fighting or disagreeing. I think does Knocked Up have someone getting punched? Maybe, but there's always something. There's always an X. There's always miscommunication. But I think anytime you have an angry X, there's going to be a pop.
There's an angry X. There's gonna be a pop. It's
Right?
a good line.
I don't know. But it lends itself to it because someone's always getting punched.
Yeah, I mean, it adds to the height. They have to generate tension somehow.
Like Jerry
And
Maguire gets hit, like by his ex. She just pops him in the face.
Is that when he quit? Is that when he got popped in the
He's like,
face?
I'm breaking up with you. And then he just gets wrecked. And she like lays
Oh
into him really
wow.
good with a punch. I'm telling just go through rom-coms and you'll see a
Jennifer
lot.
Lawrence beat up some people on the beach.
Oh yeah, and Hard Truths. I
No,
think
the recent
yeah,
one.
hard is it Hard Truth or the Truth? Yeah, she has a naked beach fight.
Yeah. She really started wailing on some
She's
people.
hilarious in that movie. She lets it all go. So
Yeah,
it's
she's another fearless actor who could have done this type of role
yeah,
easily.
yeah, she doesn't care. That was not. I remember when that scene happened. I was just like, all right, she's cool. Just one like you watch it and you're not like this is gratuitous. You're like, no, this is pretty funny actually
Yeah,
because
come to think of it, that's probably the closest movie we have to Bridget Jones' Diary, where she was just a total dumbass the whole movie. I mean, right?
yeah,
Is it the closest?
yeah, she just yeah, that's an odd. Yeah, she just goes to sleep with this kid. And then remember when Matthew Broderick says his name to her, like layered, like oh, like 7 layered dip, like no, or like lasagna layered, no,
They couldn't get his name.
like
Right?
it's like layered, like lasagna, no. Does he say something like that, like the 7 layer dip? and
There's a lot of jokes,
then
man.
Broderick and oh, that Addicted to Love movie with him and Meg Ryan. There's some fights in that. I don't know. Can't like just there's always a brawl. There's always a brawl
Yeah.
in rom coms.
I don't think I'm ever going to watch a rom-com the same way. I'm like, where's the fight?
But think about Love Hurts, and we got it. But Eric, man, any other final thoughts about this fight scene?
No, I don't have any last remarks like Hugh Grant. I don't have any last minute bar. I'm just gonna let this go.
Wanker. What?
Oh, wait, it's on now.
He's such, but it's oh man, yeah, good fights. Well, thank you for joining me, Eric.
All right, brother.
All right, man. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Eric Hoffmeyer, this is Movies, Tools, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.